This is a series where we bring you the most powerful, ambitious, and tragic stories from human history. From the Great Pyramids of Egypt to the Golden Age of Athens, from the rise of Rome to the fall of the Soviet Union, it's hard to imagine a world without the internet, smartphones, or cars. But there was a time when Europe was dominant and African nations were not yet mapped out. We are talking about none other than Tewodros II. Imagine the year 1855. The Ethiopian landscape is a mosaic of fragmented territories controlled by the hands of the nobility, each vying for dominance. Kasa, ambitious and resolute, set his sights on unifying this fractured land. He was a visionary, an Ethiopian reformer driven by the audacious dream of modernizing his homeland. In 1859, he boldly penned a letter to European leaders, a plea for assistance in his endeavors. He expressed his willingness to embrace European technology and expertise, but his openness came with conditions. The year was 1868, and Tewodros' story was coming to a dramatic end. His young son, Haile Selassie, too young to rule, was proclaimed emperor, but real power lay in the hands of the Regency Council. His ambition and reforms laid the foundation for a modern Ethiopian state, a feat rarely achieved in the annals of African history. His efforts to resist European colonialism stand as a testament to his patriotism and unwavering belief in the strength of his nation. Despite the controversies surrounding his later years, Tewodros' contributions to Ethiopia's trajectory remain undeniable. He was a visionary, a reformer, and a martyr, a man willing to give his life for his country. His story isn't just a historical account. It is a source of inspiration for generations of Ethiopians and a reminder of the immense potential that lies within the African continent. This council, dominated by the nobility, set the stage for a new chapter in Ethiopian history. The British, led by Sir Robert Napier, had captured his fortress, looting and burning it to the ground. But before they did, Tewodros made his final stand. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and share if you found this video informative and entertaining. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world. Thank you for watching. Faced with certain capture or death, he chose a tragic exit, ending his life with a pistol shot. The weapon was an ironic choice, a gift from Queen Victoria, the same monarch whose subjects he had imprisoned, leading to the war. He desired trade partnerships and diplomatic missions, but he drew a clear line, demanding that missionaries stay out of Ethiopian affairs. This approach, while progressive, was viewed with suspicion by many Ethiopians, particularly the clergy, leading to opposition and intrigue. But Tewodros was undeterred. He continued to push forward, determined to transform Ethiopia into a modern and independent nation. His vision was nothing short of monumental, a blueprint for a strong and unified Ethiopia that would resonate throughout the 19th century. Now that he had successfully reunited the nation, Tewodros embarked on a series of reforms aimed at transforming Ethiopia into a formidable and independent nation. He envisioned a centralized government that would eclipse the power of provincial rulers. His reforms touched every aspect of Ethiopian life, from governance and economy to religion and education. He introduced accounting rules, standardized weights and measures, and established primary schools, laying the groundwork for a literate population. However, the most significant reform was his reorganization of the army. He sought to mold the Ethiopian army into a force that could rival any standing army in the world. He imported firearms and artillery, replacing traditional weapons and training his soldiers in modern military tactics. Additionally, he introduced the concept of national service, a system by which every able-bodied Ethiopian male could serve in the military. Under his banner, he rallied various factions, weaving alliances that cut across the social hierarchy. By 1856, his star was on the rise. He had secured crucial victories, notably the Battle of Gramba. Scholars attribute this transformation to a confluence of factors, including the pressures of leadership, personal tragedies, and the isolation that often accompanies absolute power. Whatever the cause, his later years were marked by paranoia and brutality, a far cry from the man who had once rallied a nation under the banner of unity and progress. Towards the end of his reign, Tewodros found himself in a precarious position. Internal rebellions fueled by his own policies and external threats loomed large. In 1865, he faced the Anglo-Ethiopian War, a conflict that tested the very foundations of his reign. The war, sparked by his imprisonment of British subjects, resulted in the Battle of Magdala in 1866. Tewodros, trapped in his mountain fortress, chose a tragic end over surrender. In the annals of history, his decision stands as a pivotal moment, marking not just the end of his reign, but the end of an era. There, against the backdrop of the majestic mountains, Khasa's strategic brilliance shone. He defied conventional tactics, choosing to fortify a steep cliff instead of engaging in open warfare. When his adversary, Ras Ali II of Yeju, attempted a frontal assault, he was met with an onslaught of arrows and stones from Khasa's well-hidden troops. The attack failed, marking a turning point in Khasa's career. It was a strategic masterpiece, a symphony of defense and surprise. But it was more than just a military triumph. It was a statement of intent. Khasa's ascent to the throne was not merely about conquest. It was about restoring order, about bringing together a nation on the brink of collapse. Born in 1818, Tewodros II, originally known as Khasa Hailu, hailed from the ancient kingdom of Ethiopia. As Khasa prepared to ascend to the throne, he chose a new name, one that resonated with the ancient lineage of Ethiopian kings. He became Tewodros II. His choice of name was steeped in tradition and prophecy, setting the stage for his reign as a legendary Ethiopian monarch. The coronation ceremony was a blend of age-old tradition and personal symbolism. On September 11, 1856, Tewodros ascended to the throne, marking not just a change in dynasty, but a shift in the narrative of Ethiopian history. At the heart of his coronation ceremony lay a profound symbolic gesture, the crowning of his infant son, Haile Selassie, as the heir apparent. This act was a clear indication of Tewodros' commitment to the Solomonic tradition. He firmly believed in the divine right of kings, seeing his lineage as a direct link to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. It was a declaration of continuity, assuring his subjects that the ancient traditions of Ethiopia would be upheld. The son of a low-ranking nobleman and a woman from a religious lineage, Khasa's early life was a tapestry of challenges and triumphs. Orphaned at a tender age, he navigated through life's uncertainties, finding solace in monasteries and enduring the harsh realities of his time. These formative years weren't merely about survival. They were about resilience, resourcefulness, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. This period honed his leadership qualities, instilling in him the values of perseverance and strategic thinking. By the age of 24, he was no longer the timid boy who had roamed the rugged terrains of Ethiopia. He was now known as the chieftain, a title earned through his victories in battles against local rulers. His name echoed with the thunder of his war drums and the clash of steel, signifying his rise to power in the northernmost part of Ethiopia. Back then, Africa was more than just a continent. It was a mystery, an enigma. Europeans knew little about its vastness and potential. They gave it names like the Dark Continent and spoke of it in hushed tones, describing it as the cradle of humanity. However, they didn't realize that Africa wasn't just a birthplace. It was a living, breathing entity, a cradle that nurtured empires, cultures, and dreams. One such African nation was Ethiopia. Join us as we dive deep into the events, people, and ideas that have shaped our world. Powerful nations stretched their arms across the globe, claiming lands, exploiting resources, and shaping the world according to their will. Yet amidst this storm, a beacon of independence stood tall: Ethiopia. This small nation nestled in the Horn of Africa was not just resisting colonial claims, it was striving for unity and progress. This is the story of a mighty empire, a testament to courage and the enduring spirit of a nation. This is the epic tale of Ethiopia's warriors, a saga of battles, bravery, and bloodshed. And today we bring you the incredible story of the one and only Emperor Tewodros II, the first modern emperor of Ethiopia. In the mid-19th century, Europe was on the march. At the heart of this narrative stands a man destined for greatness, a man who dared to dream of a unified and modernized Ethiopia. However, destiny had grander plans for him. His rise to power was nothing short of legendary. At the heart of his ambitions lay a vision of modernization. But his legacy wasn't confined to the realm of tradition. His quest for modernization didn't stop at the borders of Ethiopia. As Tewodros' reign progressed, his actions became increasingly erratic, a stark contrast to his earlier brilliance. As the smoke cleared over Magdala, the echoes of Tewodros' gunshots reverberated throughout Ethiopian history. The death of Tewodros left a power vacuum that would shape Ethiopia's trajectory. Tewodros II, though a controversial figure, remains a towering presence in Ethiopian history. So, what do you think about the story of Tewodros II? Do you see him as a visionary leader or a tyrannical ruler?